Hi guys, so this video here is taken from a full course on building a track from scratch in Logic. You'll be able to watch all of the Logic related videos for the course on YouTube. There will be a link to the playlist below for you. But in this course, we're basically building this whole track from scratch. If you want to follow along with that, you can. And if you want to download the project file and all the samples that go with the course, there's a link to that in the description as well. I hope this video is useful to you and that you're able to follow along with the course. Let's jump into it.
Feeling heavy, but now I'm steady, going up from hitting the ground.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick bit of housekeeping just so we know what's going on. So like we did the recent things before, I think we can leave the strings in the blue color, but name wise, let's just give them a name so we know what's where. So we'll go with viola chords on that one, viola mel for the melody, viola mel for the violin melody. And what we do is just going to highlight those and name the channels as them as well. So we've got an idea of what's going on. So name track by region name, and color wise, we'll throw them in the same color as well. Now we pop this break down in here right after this section. So a couple more things I want to do just building up into this break. So I do want to just get a couple of sounds and use them as transition sounds. I want a crash, ideally one on its own. Let's see what we've got in the loop library. There you go, that long crash is going to work okay. I want to use that as sort of like a transition signal. So we go. Now I want a similar one like that we're going to use as an extra riser. Just going to drop that there, flip it in reverse. Just going to close the browser here and just reverse that. Switch the automation lanes off so we can see right where it's lined up. So we just want to come to like a bit of a crescendo there. The other thing I want to do is have this crash start right when the main bit of music starts. So we've got this little run section here, and then it starts here with these drums, doesn't it? So we're now going to go. I think we'll even use the reverse symbol there. But remember, we just gave that little quarter of a bar break like that. So let's just line that up to zoom in to get it just right. So you can sometimes, what I've got at the minute at the bottom is this window here. If you just press E, that brings that up. As sometimes Logic doesn't really show you what's going on here. So it looks like the sample kind of disappears. However, you can see there, it's actually bang on. So that should just give us that build up. Listening back to it now, I do kind of like the melody, but I think we're just going to layer it with the chords, perhaps just for the first couple of bars, and then we'll bring that melody in and really kind of phase it in like this. Yeah, we'll do the first 4 bars and then bring it in. Yeah, really happy with that build up. And then we've got a slightly longer breakdown, another build up. What we're going to do is take this same section here, which is sort of our like main like verse and chorus build. And we are literally going to copy and paste and drop this over here. We won't necessarily leave it like this, but as a song build, this is pretty much where we're at. I'm going to even use this right as the ender on this piano section here. I'm going to bring these up. So what we did before, we're going to highlight them, functions, MIDI transform, humanize it, do the same again like that. But this time with each chord, I'm going to take it like this and just bring the level down so that they really fade out. And the last chord, I'm going to massively overextend so it can't really hold out, it just fades out over time. Like that. Now that gives us a 4-minute 40-second track in total. We're just going to play through the whole thing, see what we like about it, and the idea being, if I need to add any extra little bits now, I will, but likely I'm probably just going to give a rough balance for this, and we'll go over doing the rough balance, and then we'll look at sending that out to a vocalist. Okay, so right off the bat, one thing I'm going to change is we're going to fade these drums out at the start. So let's go into the automation. We already had our drum lane done, and we've already got a filter on it, which is dead useful. So we can have it completely in for these first few bars. And then we're going to look to bring it out here. We want to make sure it's back in play for here. So we're going to bring it out like this. Use T and W and just curve it like that. And something like that should work for us. So it's there, but we're going to fade it away. Cool, so relatively happy with what we've got now. It's a nice sketch. What I need to do is balance it so we can send it out to someone so they can put their ideas to it and record to it by somebody else without any interaction, because that is the nature of it right now. So we need to make sure they've got something good to work off. Now, this is probably the only time you're going to see a third-party plugin in this session. I'm going to use it just to help me balance everything out because I'm working in headphones to record it. So what we're going to do on the master bus, I'll put this one called Tonal Balance Control 2. And I've got my own setting on here called 2001. We're going to put it into fine. And what this does, it gives me an idea of the balance, especially in the low end, that I can't get perfect in headphones. And what I'm really going to be doing is going through all of the faders, balancing out the levels, and I'll be doing some EQ and probably some compression in places as well. One thing I did want to touch on was just grabbing all these strings and giving them their own bus like we did for the drums as well. Put that on 11. We're just going to call that string like so, just so they've got one bus that they all work in as well. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm mainly focus on this section here. This is our busiest section where everything happens. I'll just be looping that and balancing that. If I get the balance for that part right, where most of the vocals are going to be, we can do everything else once we've got the track back and the vocals back and the other ideas to work off of. So the sub area in the Reese is just a little bit too much now. Because we made this in Alchemy, we know exactly how it's constructed. I can literally go to the sine wave here and I can turn it down to say -7, 8 or even 9 dB and play it back and see how it is. I'm still going to use an EQ. I'm going to low shelf away a little bit here with quite a steep slope because I want to make a little bump around here as well, where we've got the real rumble going on. This area here. Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep into sound design. I purely want a balance here to get the whole track together. The strings bus is quite nicely balanced if we take all of them together. I think we could do a bit of stereo panning, especially put the melody a little bit to the right like this. And this. Nice bit of separation. However, overall it's too loud. Now because it's going to a bus, I can literally just take the bus down by like 3 dB. So on the strings there, just took all the low end out. There were a couple of like low end things that weren't adding anything to it, but were definitely interfering with other bits. So just got rid of those. Dipped here because there was a bit of resonance. You just saw me match it up here and just giving it a nice boost just to bring some of the tops out. Even though we've gained it down by 3 dB, I'm adding 2.5 back in the top. So I've just lifted that up back to essentially where it was, but kept everything else low and split those. The other thing is the drums. There's a little bit of high end missing on there. Now we've used this as a filter already. So what I'll actually do is add an EQ below it instead. I'll do that just by copying this one over and switching off that high pass. And we're actually just going to give a real lift on the high end like this. That's not too badly balanced. It's maybe a little bit harsh on the drums. Just going to dial it back by a decibel. Cool. Not the worst mix, not the best mix. You can hear all the elements, the ideas there. It can develop into something. Just going to put the high pass on the bottom here of the drums as well. We just don't need any of that extra low end. And something else I'm going to do on this track here, which is our master stereo out. I'm just going to top and tail it like that. So they're both at 20 kilohertz and 20 hertz respectively, just isolating that space a little bit for us. and that's balanced pretty well. It doesn't sound too bad. So we can actually get rid of you. We've got plenty of headroom, nearly 4 dB. That for me is ready to send off to someone who's going to write to it and do some vocals for it. So the next time we come back, we'll be looking to import those vocals, start working and keep developing the track from there.